Yo, what's up, moviegoers? How's it going? So for today's video, basically we're going to be talking about the Underworld franchise and where it sits today, possible ideas of what they could do to keep the franchise alive, even though they lost their main star, Kate Beckinsale, who said she would never do another Underworld movie going forward after Blood Wars. And yeah, so let's just basically dive right into it. That was the main thing that, people are still kind of talking about regarding the Underworld universe, is that Kate Beckinsale is not going to come back. Now, people think that maybe, for right now, she's just not feeling the role. She may reprise her role again, as this has happened before. They made Underworld Evolution, and then they made Rise of the Lycans, which Kate Beckinsale wasn't involved in at all whatsoever. So she kind of got a break from the movie and did other movies, which allowed her to kind of branch out more. But Rise of the Lycans did pretty good without having Kate Beckinsale in it. So could they possibly move on with the franchise without having Kate Beckinsale playing the protagonist and hero of the story, which is Celine? So basically, just to kind of for those people who really haven't watched Underworld is probably one of the I would say it would be a classic in the future. It actually pits vampires versus werewolves, which is an age-old question that a lot of fans of the classic horror movies wanted to see. I mean, we've seen Dracula, we've seen vampire movies, we've seen The Wolfman and Werewolf, The Beast Among Us, and some other werewolf flicks, but we've never really seen a vampire totally take on a werewolf. Or in this case, Underworld actually splits it into three. So you have vampires, you have lycans, and then you have werewolves. Now, the difference between lycans and werewolves is that lycans can transform from to a wolf-like creature back to human form, whereas werewolves, the originals who were bitten or injured by the first werewolf, William, changed into a werewolf, and they never change back to a human form. They stay in that form unless they're killed, and their body will return back to a human form. So that's the differences between lycans and werewolves in this universe. But in the first movie, we kind of see, we have Celine. She hunts lycans, and throughout the midst of everything, she finds out that the person that she considered as her dad was actually responsible for her parents' death. And she learns that she was betrayed. And all this unfolds as she falls in love with the last living descendant of the Corvinus clan. Now, basically, werewolves, vampires, and lycans exist only because of this clan of immortals, which go by their last name, Corvinus. Alexander Corvinus had two sons. They were twins. One was William, one was Marcus. Marcus was bitten by a bat. William was bitten by a wolf, and thus bred werewolf and vampires. Now, William attacked people, which turned into werewolves, but as he continued to do that and ravaged the entire country, one werewolf gave birth to a child that was born in human form, which was Lucian. So he was the very first lycan. So the story progresses basically, of Celine and Michael Corvin, who was the last living descendant of the Corvinus clan. He gets bitten by Lucian, so he is days away from transforming into a werewolf. However, they're trying to create a hybrid, a mix of a vampire and a werewolf, which we'll get on into in Rise of the Lycans, the reason why this was going on, why Lucian was trying to do this. In Rise of the Lycans, we find out that lycans, after the first lycan, which was Lucian, was born, they made more like him, so they had him bite other humans who were slaves to Victor in those times. And Lucian fell in love with Victor's daughter, Sonia. So they got married. She got pregnant by Lucian. So they actually had a true hybrid fetus, which was killed when Victor found out that his daughter was consorting with the lycan. The council judged her and sentenced her to death, had Lucian watch his wife die and his child die, or his unborn child die. And so that kind of there, you have the idea of the movie. But right now, Kate Beckinsale does not want to reprise the role of Celine. So what definitely will happen with the Underworld franchise? I mean, a lot of people are speculating it's going to die, because in the last movie, Blood Wars, after Selene defeated Marius, the new leader of the Lycans, who we find out that in Underworld Awakening at the end, when their daughter saw through her father's eyes that he was awoken, and they went to find him, he wasn't inside that, that cryo fridge. They think that he awoken and that he had just, left to go look for them. We find out in Blood Wars that that wasn't the case. He was actually abducted from that facility by Marius and the Lycans, and when he awoken, Marius basically drained him of all his blood. And so that's how Marius was able to get stronger in Blood Wars and kind of like transform into a werewolf, but didn't fully transform. He kind of looked a little hybrid. That's just because he had Michael's blood. So Michael Corvin is dead going on forward. But at the end of Blood Wars, they now have 3 new elders. So the elders that were chosen was David, who in Blood Wars we find out he happens to be Amelia's son. So Amelia was one of the 3 original elders. So there was Marcus, Amelia, and Victor. Now that the 3 are dead, the vampire clan needs new leaders. So David, son of Amelia, becomes one of the new elders. Selene becomes an elder. She's chosen to be an elder. And then the Northern Coven, Lena, she becomes an elder. So now the vampires have 3 new elders, and if they're going to maintain the same type of way that the vampires did things, which was 1 awake, 2 asleep, leapfrogging through time, so that way there's not 3 elders awake and a struggle for power if 1 or 2 disagree with the other, which I think would be smarter, would to be 1 awake, 2 asleep, to kind of continue that tradition of the vampire clan. Now, if they did that, this is where the Underworld franchise could potentially capitalize on without needing Kate Beckinsale to be a part of it. Because if they decide to have maybe say David remain awake, Selene and Lena put to sleep in hibernation, they can focus on other characters and kind of build on, or they can even make the focal point on Selene and Michael's daughter. They can actually make stories based on her, and you really wouldn't need Kate Beckinsale for it, or maybe they could just have her do like a small cameo going forward with more movies. Now, it's kind of sad to do that though, because some people would be like, okay, we've had enough of Underworld, it's run its course, just let it die. And you never know, maybe it just needs to be on hold for now and be revived maybe in 2 or 3, 4 years from now. But the point is that technically without Kate Beckinsale doesn't mean that the franchise is completely dead. They have ways, or they have options that they can use here based upon the ending of Blood Wars that they could capitalize on to create another movie if they wanted to. And it doesn't necessarily have to always follow Selene. As a matter of fact, at this point, I think Selene's character should be pushed to the side and no longer the main focal point of Underworld. As Michael's dead, her daughter's safe. So she is now voted in as one of the elders, and yeah, they could even make 3 movies afterwards, and start off with David, having a movie about the times where David ruled, have a movie about the times where Lena ruled, and then if Kate Beckinsale chooses to come back to Underworld, they could have a movie that brings her back in. So even if they didn't want to continue on a long list of movies, they do have options here to just maybe make 3 more. But I mean, it's really here or there. And for me personally, I would love to see another Underworld movie. I'm really a huge fan of the franchise, so it wouldn't kill me. Or maybe if they went straight to DVD, maybe they don't have to push it as a Hollywood blockbuster, but push it to DVD, but just do it right. I mean, if they decide to do that, just do it right. Don't cheap out on the budget, and certainly don't change a lot of dynamics of it. Continue the flow, because that's the one thing about the Underworld series that I liked, is that it flowed. You didn't see a change in style, a change in graphics, or anything like that. Like, it just had the same feeling, but you knew it was a newer movie. So, but that's my thoughts about it. Let me know what you guys think about it. Would you guys be open to having another Underworld movie? And if so, let me know. If you think it should just die and just be left alone after Blood Wars, let me know why. You guys could do that in the comment section of this video. If you guys enjoyed these movie talks that I have, drop a like also to let me know. And yeah, I'll talk to y'all later.